Alrighty, so welcome everyone to our inaugural CyberForce Competition webinar series. To conserve a little bit of bandwidth this evening, I'm going to stay off camera for at least the beginning portion. I'm Amanda Joyce, and we're going to go through the CyberForce Competition and understanding the basics. Today, myself and my colleague Jennifer, who is our anomaly lead for the competition, will be going through kind of what the general overview of the competition is, and then what we look forward to here in 2021. But before that, CyberForce is not possible without the Office of Cybersecurity, Energy Security, and Emergency Response. So I wanted to give the floor over to our program manager, Carolyn Gay, to say a few words.
Hello, and welcome to the first CyberForce Competition webinar in the 2021 series. As Amanda Joyce said, my name is Carolyn Gay, and I'm the Department of Energy Program Manager for CyberForce. I work in DOE's Office of Cybersecurity, Energy Security, and Emergency Response, or CSER, and work closely with our partner, Argonne National Lab. DOE has sponsored the CyberForce competition for the past 6 years because we believe that this competition and program helps support, prepare, and inspire students to pursue positions in the cybersecurity workforce. This competition also aims to raise awareness of the strong relationship between critical infrastructure and cybersecurity. We're investing in college students because we need your skills and expertise in the energy sector. CyberForce provides a hands-on, realistic way for you to see the threats and vulnerabilities the sector is facing and shows you what energy cybersecurity career opportunities lie ahead. Cybersecurity is a national priority and critical to the national security and economic well-being of our nation. Thank you for joining us today, and please don't hesitate to ask questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. Alrighty, so in reviewing kind of the quick registration, more than half of those that registered were have not participated in CyberForce before. So I'm super excited to share the information today with you. So to get started, what is the purpose behind CyberForce? So in the present moment, CyberForce is very largely geared towards collegiate students. With the purpose of trying to give students a cyber physical, hands-on, realistic, I know it's a lot of words thrown at you right there, energy-based scenario. So in a nutshell, we're trying to help students understand the operational technology, not that information technology or your IT is not important, but we're really trying to help, as you'll see later, building a pipeline for our energy security, but getting them to understand our energy infrastructure through, as I mentioned, your energy-based scenarios. Students are going to secure and defend their infrastructure, but as always, we don't like to make things easy in this competition. We like to make it lifelike, and with that, there's real-world constraints. So as a competition for students, you'd think we can't allow them to, purchase a $10,000 firewall and implement it. We really look at ensuring everyone's kind of got consistent balance. So think free, open source, available to everyone, because likely the budget for many of these plants or where we're going is not going to have a large budget. They're going to have lifelike constraints and tasks. So as I mentioned, Jennifer's our anomaly lead. She'll go into these larger and more later. Things like going to meetings, having to do a task for your job that maybe is not your normal everyday work experience. Those are things that they also have to deal with throughout the competition. They have to handle actual end users. So a unique aspect to ours is we actually have end users who either simulate your user environment, your employees, an owner or operator that has to actually be able to use your system throughout the day. And then obviously you have continual emerging threats that occur throughout the day. The goal at the end of the day is to help build a pipeline of qualified candidates for the crucial positions in our energy sector, national labs, and industry. So at the end of the day, what we're really trying to give is the skill set available to help students better their resumes, to really help out in our key cybersecurity positions.
Alrighty. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer. Amanda, can you hear me? Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yes, you can. Sorry.
Okay. I was starting to sweat. Okay. All right. So this is our competition structure. For those that have competed before, you'll probably be very familiar with this, but if you're tuning in for the first time and you're kind of wondering what the setup is, I feel like our competition is, or like the Department of Energy's competition is unique in the fact that there are so many moving parts and there are so many different teams all kind of reliant on each other to some extent, as you can see in this graphic. So I'm going to go through briefly what each team means and how they interact with each other. So we have the blue team, and that is, that is the competitor. That is the team of defenders that are trying to defend their infrastructure from the red team. They're trying to keep their systems up and running for the green team, and they're trying to pitch their innovative idea or problem solve for to the orange team. And if they have time, hopefully answer some fun anomalies, which, simulate those kind of like day-to-day pop-ups that you might see of like, oh, I have to parse through these logs and find this information. Like, why is Bob logging in from China at 3 a.m? Like, these are simulating real-world events that you might have to solve as a person in the cybersecurity industry. We have the orange team, and the orange team is known as the C-suite, and that is composed of cybersecurity professionals, VPs, technology officers, and the like. And the C-suite's team, their job is to grade the blue team's pitch, give them a score based off of presentability, ingenuity, and other factors. And I believe we have a slide later on that talks more about the C-suite in depth. We also have white team, and white team is composed of administrative staff that help keep the competition running. These people are integral to making sure things like the scoreboard is up, anomalies are running, if there are questions about anomalies, the ICS infrastructure that people have on their tables if we're not in a pandemic, making sure that Azure, our cloud environment, is running and that the permissions are set like they're supposed to be, and ensuring just in general a smooth experience for those competitors. The red team, I'm sure blue team is very familiar with red team, but the red team is composed of cybersecurity professionals who simulate the attackers in the real world. So their job is to look for vulnerabilities within the blue team infrastructure and exploit those vulnerabilities to gain access to internal blue team systems, including that ICS infrastructure. We also have the pink team, which the red team sometimes interfaces with. If there is an advanced pink team member, they might go onto red team. But the pink team is composed of individuals that are interested in learning more about cybersecurity. So we host kind of like a one-day boot camp that occurs during the competition, and it gives a crash course on everything. It's basically like a day crash course on a year of comp sci. So we teach everything from computer architecture to web and system vulnerabilities to an overview on how to use Kali Linux, which is, an operating system loaded with lots of hacking software. And so that's kind of just an overview. Oh, and I think I talked about, oh no, I don't think I talked about green team. So very quickly, green team simulates the end user. So they are also volunteers, usually non-technical, that volunteer to test the usability of the blue team's system. So this is like, can I log into your portal? Can I control, the simulated wind turbines? Depending on the scenario in a given year, green team will test the usability and availability of blue team.
Great. So Forrest will get into how to participate in some of those fun activities here later. So I don't want you to think we'll forget your question. So to best understand kind of where we are today and our outlook for the future, I want to bring us back to kind of where we started. So CyberForce, which was not the initial name for this, back in the day, 2016, it was under the name of Cyber Defense Competition. How unique, as you probably all think. It was started at just Argonne. We were just looking to really make a small difference in the cybersecurity landscape field in and near us. And so as you can see, and you'll see throughout the growth of the map, how large we've grown over the last few years. So in 2016, it was just Argonne. In 2017, DOE came on board, still under the name of Cyber Defense Competition. And we started to kind of grow our presence with adding more schools throughout the United States. In 2018, we added 2 additional laboratories, so one in Washington and one in Tennessee. And as you can see, we started to, again, continue to grow. If you're wondering colors, it just is how we handle our color of competition every year. So in the beginning, in 2016, 2017, and as you can see here in April 2018, the competition actually used to run in the spring. As we know, in comparison to a lot of other cybersecurity competitions, that was a pretty heavy season for a lot of competitions for students. And so we found it was a bit of a confliction between students of where can they put their time and energy. And obviously being students, we want to make sure that everyone's paying attention to their schoolwork. So in an effort for us to help everyone, we've moved the competition into your fall winter timeframe, and it's been there ever since. So in December of 2018, we added 4 additional labs. So yes, in April we had 3, in December we had 7 at the end of the day. And as you can see, we've grown to have several more states throughout the time. In 2019, then we added 3 more labs. So at the end of the day, we had 10 total labs participating. So again, in a normal environment, and I like to use that word, normal environment, this competition is held in person. It makes the competition unique in that there's 10 locations. We're all participating at the same time against one another, even though we're all not in the same space. So I work at Argonne National Laboratory. We hosted 27 teams in 2019 at our lab. And then you'll have labs like Pacific Northwest National Laboratory in Washington that hosted 20 teams at their lab. My teams here at Argonne participated against those that were at Washington at Pacific Northwest. At the end of the day, there's one national winner, and then we also have local winners at each laboratory. So as you can imagine, we kind of really, it's a fun, but it's a super long day because you have to take into account many different time zones across the way. And then we hit 2020, which all of us didn't expect. And we came to kind of a halt. So 2020, I will admit, is an anomaly year for us. No pun intended to our anomaly lead. We moved it to virtual, as I think many things in our day and age right now are virtual. And so there really was no lab infrastructure added to it. On top of that, 2020, all years prior, I guess we'll say, our team events. Students were in a team of 4 to 6, and they, like I said, you came on site. In 2020, it turned into a virtual, and we did an individual, which was very different than in any years prior. So in a nutshell, it's hard to kind of do a comparison in total, but at the end of the results, we had 203 participants individually for 2020, and this is kind of the locations where they came from. And so I like to show people kind of over the years where they've all come from. And, you know, obviously, if you come from a state where it's gray, we would love to hear from you and have you participate. But overall, the program continues to grow, and 2021 is no exception to that. We're super excited to share more exciting news for you all here at the end of this. But the program wouldn't be anything without the students, the teachers, the schools, and the staff at the national labs. So with that, to dive into specifics, so as we mentioned, and you know, overall, the competition is really driven by the energy sector, as we're a Department of Energy national laboratory, or we're a Department of Energy, we're national labs. And our obviously main focus is on energy. So every scenario will slightly include something around energy, and then potentially another critical infrastructure sector. So 2016 was electricity, and if you got to see our initial look and feel of what those actual ICS looked like. It was a little sad birdhouse that we did. We've grown a lot since then, so we didn't show those pictures. In 2017, it was a water and electricity. In April 2018, we did natural gas. As you can see, then we did oil and HPC, which is high power computing. In 2019, we actually did a dependency chain. So we had 4 different units, one being solar, substation, high performance computing, and manufacturing. And then so there was, as I mentioned, 4 different units, and students had to work together to ensure that the dependency chain among them continued to flow so that they would get awarded the points. And then last year we had wind, which, as you can see to the right, was kind of what happened. Students, because it was virtual, got to see that kind of top right picture. And then the physical model, which was only available via a Twitch feed, is right there in the middle. And then the HMI that students also got to see, and the green team users, is in the bottom there.
So here's the scoring breakdown. Every year, the percentage to which each of these categories, the percentage to which these categories are awarded kind of change, but we have 5 main scoring categories. So we have red team, and they score based off of, a set of criteria based off of, how far can I exploit this vulnerability? Did you lock this down? Were you able to even find this vulnerability that we baked into the infrastructure when we handed it off to the competitors? We also have, like I mentioned, vulnerabilities introduced into the build out. So, did we build an internal blue? Were you able to patch that? Did you find that? If not, red team probably knows that there are some vulnerabilities in there. We'll look for those types of things. Can they exploit that? And then also we're looking for sportsmanship, right? So if we were able to exploit your machine, how did you handle that? Were you able to patch that system and move on? So, we're looking at those different elements within red team. Within blue team, we're looking at service uptime. Are you able to keep your mail service up? Are you able to keep, the different things that we require you to keep up? Were you able to keep that running for the duration of the competition? If not, how long was your service down? The scoreboard does ping these types of services X amount of seconds to see if these services are up. So if they're not, we record that and we score you accordingly. The green team, we are grading you on usability. So like I mentioned earlier, when I was talking about the team diagram and how everything all fits together, green team is that end user that's testing to see how easy is it for me to log into your system to use this website that you've created for me? Is it extremely difficult and I need to call you to get the password, and then, then I log in and then I give you my fingerprint and then I use my RSA key fob and then I'm able to get in? That's probably not the easiest for usability. It's probably very secure, but we kind of have to balance that usability versus security aspect. And then we also have white team scoring, and that is everything from security documentation, which is required for for competitors to hand in prior to the competition. This talks about how your competition infrastructure is set up. It requires diagrams and just letting us know what things are running on which ports and etc. And we're also grading you on information sharing or incident reporting. And that's something that came into play, I believe, 2 competitions ago, and we've kept it going ever since. But basically, you can gain points for sharing information like, oh, I think, red team might be exploiting X vulnerability on X port. This is what I think is going on. Because in the real world, being able to give this information to others in the same sector as you can be the difference between one business getting, compromised versus a whole sector being compromised. So information sharing is critical and crucial, and that's why we want to award points for that. And then we have the C-suite panel brief, which I think is talked about on the next slide, if not, then 2 slides after that. But basically, you're given a situation or a problem, and then you have to come up with an innovative way to solve that problem, or how you would go about, fixing a said issue. And you're given points for ingenuity, how well you're able to present yourself to the panel, to that C-suite panel. And then we also have anomaly scores. And I believe anomaly scores are on the next slide, so I can just talk about that there. Cool. Thank you, Amanda. So anomaly scores. Anomalies are challenges, and they are meant to help enhance the experience. On the left here, you can see that this is a badge that we had from, I think, 2 years ago. It all kind of blends together for me, but this is a competitor badge. It's a crypto badge. And so you have to solve the different elements on the badge to get to the final endpoint of that puzzle and then submit it for points. They're not all like, cipher or encryption challenges. We have things like, parsing through logs to see, how many users attempted X logins at X time, or we have reverse engineering challenges, we have compliance challenges. So it really exposes competitors to these real world challenges that may occur within that information security field. Occasionally, we do support red team with added exploits as needed. And really, the anomalies are meant to challenge the competitors, but also for us on the back end, we're able to map these anomalies to the NIST NICE framework, which I can put a link in the chat for. But basically what it does is it maps all of these different knowledge, skills, and abilities down to like work roles and down to categories. And we're able to see like, okay, if you're doing really well on 7 out of 7 of the protect and defend category based anomalies, you probably have a really strong knowledge set on, reverse engineering and, oh gosh, I don't know, parsing through logs, let's say. And so each of these different skills, abilities, and like what you have as knowledge, able to map that to different anomalies is huge for us on the back end, because then we're able to see, where the students or competitors may be very strong in this technical subject matter, and then where maybe we can offer training for you so that you can brush up on things that you may not have submitted the correct answer for during the competition. And so for us, it gives us a lot of knowledge to see where collegiate students and even professionals are falling within that scale. And then for the competitors, hopefully it adds in a little bit of fun and it gives you challenges, because if you secure things very well during the competition, things may be smooth sailing for you. So anomalies give you that kind of those fun injects of being able to, tease your brain and be able to solve those challenges.
So as Jennifer mentioned, the C-suite panel is some people's love or hate. So if you like to talk, it's probably one of your favorite things. If you are terrified of talking, this is one of the areas that we put in to help you grow. We'll use it as a benefit for both. So the C-suite came into play, as you can tell based on our scoring, is we really are trying to build a holistic team. We've found that a lot of teams come in and are very concerned about just securing their systems and are not very concerned about anything else. At the end of the day, though, when you find that, dream job, there's going to be a lot of other tasks you have to do. And so we're really just trying to simulate that environment for people. So the C-suite brings in, like I said, both technical and non-technical leadership team. So that's why we've renamed it to the C-suite. So we need to think through your CEO, your CFO, and this could be your CISO, this could be your CIO. So you have both realms of people. And what we do is we provide a cyber-related event. So this could be, you were just made aware of an incident. You need to go to your C-suite to ask them, describe what happened, what you plan to be doing, and what you suggest the next steps are. Obviously, you need to go to a C-suite and not just start talking in your normal, cybersecurity jargon. You would need to try to explain, like, this is what happened in very layman's terms. And then also, if you're asking for money, and this is fake monopoly money that we're asking for here, do you have enough backing to say this is what's going to pay out at the end of the day? If I'm asking for $5,000 to get a better firewall instead of having nothing, at the end of the day, this is what will, the benefit for us is this. So that's really what the C-suite's meant for. It does, in a normal situation when we're in person, it does ask that someone from the team, get up, leave the team, walk over and go talk to this panel outside of the competition space. In our 2020 pandemic virtual version, we did ask the teams to pre-record themselves and submit the videos ahead of time. So in essence, that will be something of the sort for 2021, whether we are virtual or in person.
And then something to kind of note for future competitors, two things that I wanted to cover are usability and documentation. So usability, right? As a cybersecurity student or professional, you're probably thinking, I need to secure this to the best of my abilities. And, that is what is most important to you. But really, as I'm sure you're finding out or you already know, it's such a balance between security and usability, right? We all say that the most secure machine is turned off and buried 6 feet underground. But the goal is that you want to make things usable for your customers, your employees, your internal staff, et cetera, but also maintain that security within that system. So, do you build firewall rules in that say, if you're implementing 10 passwords in a row within 30 seconds, they're knocked out? Or do you implement, dual authentication saying, okay, I will accept this password from this person, but also I'm going to need them to authenticate themselves secondarily off of their phone or, in a second manner. These are the things that we're looking at within the industry for you to have that balance between security and usability. Okay, and then the next thing is documentation. And nobody likes writing document. Well, maybe some people like writing documentation, but I don't know of many that do. But, documentation is extremely important. It's the foundation for creating a good framework for not only yourself, but your coworkers and then people that may come after you if you decide to leave an organization. So this is what we're trying to get you used to when we require this documentation. We are, Roland says he loves documentation. I actually was thinking of Roland when I said maybe some people like documentation. But in general, I don't know how many, maybe people do love writing up network diagrams and explaining, what things are linked to where, but that's really important, not only for yourself to look back at as a reference, but also, for people that may come after you. And it's just a great thing to have on file. You have a history of how things were and how they are. And if, God forbid, you need to reset your entire network or your entire infrastructure because red team hacks you beyond all usability, then you can refresh it and you yourself can look back at that documentation and try and spin things up as fast as you can based off of that network documentation. So a portion of our scoring is required to be submitted before this documentation is required to be submitted before the competition starts, and it is a portion of the scoring because it is important to write that documentation. I forgot that I was also presenting this slide. So a few volunteer opportunities. I know Forrest was asking about that. We have a couple of different options for you. We have the technical and non-technical roles. Our technical role would be red team. And so this is, you're volunteering for red team. You're volunteering to basically simulate an attack or attack the blue team infrastructure. And so what we're looking for within this individual is someone that has a technical background. You are very savvy in being able to exploit vulnerabilities. You maybe know how to use Nessus or something like that, or different tools within Kali. And then your goal would be to disrupt the, that CIA triad, that confidentiality, integrity, and availability of blue team networks. And so the volunteer ask from us would be, you're begin set up reconnaissance and being able to pre-scan, but not touch anything, not actually exploit anything, never exploit before the competition. But that week prior to the competition, you're able to set up and start scanning and do some reconnaissance. And then on the day of the competition, you can then attempt to break into those systems. And that's about an 8-hour commitment. So week prior with some scanning, and then on the day, a full 8-hour commitment to fulfill your role as a red teamer. And then for our non-technical roles, we have green team, and these are the end user. They are the person that tests that blue team system, and they play that role of the typical business user. And it's basically, can you log in? Tell us via a survey, like what easy was it to log into the system? How were the instructions on how to log into the system, and being able to interact with the system? How were the instructions written? Were they written well? Were they easy to understand? All of these things kind of help the blue team. That gives them feedback on how to write something for usability and how to create that infrastructure that is secure but also usable. So the goal for green team members is just to judge the usability and availability of blue team systems. And volunteer time, that what we ask of you is that just to come for your shift, which is usually around 2 hours on the day of the competition. You can sign up for more than that, but usually it's a minimum commitment of 2 hours.
Perfect. And then to answer your question for us, so pink team is typically done by lab basis. So some labs have it, some labs don't. So Argonne usually hosts a pink team. And the reason why the call did not go out for 2020 was because usually we host this in person so that we have a better understanding of the infrastructure that we're giving you to play around in. And so assuming that, things move into a better, brighter way here in 2021, 2022, Pink Team will come back full force, and or we'll try to work to see if we can get Pink Team into a virtual type environment for everyone. But those typically are limited, as obviously we don't want to have a plethora of people trying to handle one teacher at a time. And so for those of you that have joined that are outside of the realm of collegiate students, obviously the competition, as you saw, goes across the many states. And so we appreciate our sponsors that help us throughout all of this, through whether that's prizes, additional sponsorship dollars, or they provide license for the day of competition. So this year, Azure sponsored some cloud space. SANS provided a lot of courses for our winners. So super exciting to keep moving forward. If you're interested, please feel free to reach out. So what's next? I know that's what everyone's been on the call waiting for. So I appreciate your patience on that. So our next CyberForce competition, if you have not seen yet, is slated for Saturday, November 13th, 2021. Will it be virtual or in person is still to be determined, as you can guess. We're obviously moving in a great direction of where we are in this current pandemic, but where we all will be come fall is still a to be determined. So more information to come on that here within the next couple months. Registration for this event will open in August. So I bring that up because I know some students come from quarter system schools, some come from semesters, some come from trimesters. So I'd like to bring it up early. Question got asked, is it individual or team? We are going to go back to team. Contrary to those that may have participated in 2020. So start prepping for your teams. Why did we go to team versus individual? Some may ask. Quite honestly, we heard the feedback from students last year in 2020. We heard the feedback from you as mentors that I've had great conversations with. And at the end of the day, we all work as teams in some capacity or another. So to hone in on that team skill set is really necessary. So what makes the best team is really to have a diverse skill set. So you heard kind of the ins and outs of what is going to be required of a CyberForce competition, whether virtual or in person. You have anomalies, you have documentation, someone's got to love to talk. You got to defend, you got to be able to do all kinds of stuff at the day. So be thinking of who is best to be on a team. Then that's where we're at for November. Forest, is there an option for those who don't have people they know that they can participate in their team? As of right now, we can probably chat offline about that. Still to plan, it is meant to be a university-driven competition. So it's still based around universities, but we can definitely chat. So teams are from 4 to 6. Typically, we do select one team. Okay, so now I'm giving you guys a heads up on what's next. Teams are max 4 to 6 students per team. We typically do ask them to have a mentor associated with them just for help with communication. More than one team can register or apply, as I like to put it. Typically, we do only select one team per school, dependent on the number of slots that we do have open for the year. So in all years prior, minus 2020, we've only selected one team per school. So it's been a unique university every time. 2020, with it being individual competition, we did select more than one school or student per school. But so for 2021, you'll want to look for 4 to 6 students.
Amanda, can I jump in super quick?
Please.
Thank you. Just to close the loop for us, and others might be wondering this too, I would definitely recommend reaching out to your computer science department. A lot of schools now have like cyber defense clubs, but if you don't have 4 to 6 friends, like I certainly wouldn't, that you can ask to compete in this competition, definitely reach out to like a professor that you know, or maybe, you know, the head of that college or something like that, and they may be able to direct you in, you know, the right direction on who to ask in terms of gathering a team. Since registration does open in August, like Amanda said, you know, thinking about that now and kind of giving people the heads up, I think would be a prudent thing to do if you want to compete in the competition.
So what else is happening? Thanks, Tom. See, Jennifer, you got a friend in Tom. So what else is happening? As I mentioned, our webinar series. So second Wednesday of every month, we're going to hold a webinar. So for April, as you saw, we're doing Understanding the Basics. In May, we're doing a Where Are They Now? And so that's a look back at where some of our alumni of prior CyberForce competitions are now. Registration, I know this says 2 weeks prior, is actually open now. So it's back on the CyberForce website if you're interested in doing that. We have, I believe, 6 people that are from 2016 through 2020 who have participated, and we'll take a look and have questions for them on, you know, what did it take, not just on CyberForce, but what other extracurriculars, what education, and what are they doing today that got them there. So stay tuned for that. And then what else? So this is the big one. We are adding extra competitions this year. So you are the first to hear it. July, we will be hosting a Conquer the Hill Adventure Edition. So for those of you who love anomalies, this is definitely for you. Registration will be open in June. So limited number of people. That number again is to be determined, but again, that will largely be an individual type competition. And then in September, we have a Conquer the Hill Rain edition. So do you need a challenge? We're going to have you take over a box, and whoever can hold on to that box the longest gains the title. And registration will open in August. So that'll be kind of a double whammy of registration for students, but that will also be an individual competition challenge. So for those of you that would like to test yourself, those are 2 competitions we're adding here in July and September into our CyberForce competition series. So stay tuned for more information. Other than that, thank you all for joining today. Tomorrow morning, you'll receive a survey about today's webinar. We just kindly ask that you complete that. Let us know your thoughts on the webinar. And if you have any suggestions on any future ones, if there's something specific you'd love to hear more about, assuming we can chat about it, we would love to do that. Other than that, I'm going to very quickly stop the recording, and then